my dear children, and welcome to the beautiful, wonderful green world of science. Yes, my dear children, I mentioned green world because today me, Subasini Patnaik, will take you to a journey of green world. Yes, we are going to have a tour over the various different varieties of plants growing in different parts of the globe. Yes, so you want to join me? Come, let's go in a journey to plants' life. Yes, let's begin with a chapter called Adaptation in Plants. Yes, we are going to learn about varieties of plants, my dear children. Are you not excited to know the different varieties of plants and where they are grown? Yes, I know you all are excited. So without further delay, let's get into the chapter. And the name of your chapter is Adaptation in Plants. The first question in your mind is, what is adaptation? Yes, what is an adaptation? What is it? Adaptation is actually a process. Yes, it's a process of developing some special features to adjust in particular environment. Yes, what adaptation? First of all, adaptation is a process, dear children. And what type of process? Where a living organism develops some special characteristic. Yes, where a special characteristic is developed in the living organisms to adjust in that environment. I can give you a best example. Suppose it's a winter season and you are feeling severe cold. Yes, then what do? You go and put on a jacket or put on a coat or sweater. That is a kind of adaptations. To adapt to that cool, chilling climate, you wore the sweater. That is a change. That is an adaptation. Yes, what adaptation exactly means? It's a process of developing a special new characters in the body of the living organism to survive in a particular conditions. Yes, to survive on the earth, to survive in a proper particular place, every living organisms brings about some changes in their body to adjust to that environment and to survive in that environment, and that is what called your adaptation. What adaptation is? Again, I am repeating it. It's a process of developing special features or special characters by the living organisms to adapt themselves, to adjust themselves to the surrounding environment. It's nothing. It's a process where the living organisms develop some new characters, new special features, so that it will be easy for the living organisms to adjust and survive in that particular conditions. Yes or no? So like we people, yeah, we are adapted to survive in this plain hot climate. Yes, but we can't go and survive in Antarctic region. We feel extremely cold. Our body feels extremely, our body is adapted to this environment. Isn't it? So it's nothing but development of a special feature, special characters. Yes, to adjust to a particular environment. Every living organisms, my dear children, whether it may be animals, birds, human beings, and also plants, brings about some changes inside them, brings about some adaptations inside them to survive and to adjust in a particular conditions. Yes, have you seen the camel? Yes, where do camels survive? Where do we find camels? Of course, in desert areas. Yes, because they are habituated. Their body is adapted to the climate of deserts. They can't come and survive in this plain hot climate. They can't come and survive in your Arctic regions. They can't go and survive in the chilling temperature of Arctic and Antarctic. Because their body is adapted to the desert areas. They can't go and survive in the polar regions. A polar bear can't come and survive in the desert regions because they have adapted their body like that. Yes, so adaptation is nothing but it's a process of bringing about some changes. Yes, bringing about some changes, some special features to adapt and survive in a particular conditions. And as I told, plants also shows various adaptations to grow and survive in a particular region. Have you seen lotus? Yes. Have you seen lotus? Where it is found? Of course, in pond water. In water only we found the lotus. Have you seen anyone growing lotus in their home in a pot? Not exactly, because lotus is adapted to the aquatic habitat. They can be grown only in water. They can't grow in soil because they have developed some special features. They are adapted to the environment of water. So we are going to discuss more and more about various adaptations seen in various different types of plants. So let's start the journey with plants. And basing on this, basing on the adaptations or basing on the changes in the plants, plants are broadly divided into two types. Yes, dear children, plants are divided into two main parts on the basis of the adaptation features. Yes, and what are those? Terrestrial plants, and second one is your aquatic plants. The first one, terrestrial plants, and the second one is your aquatic plants. So in how many categories the plants are divided, dear children? Two. Yes, in two different parts, two broadly classified. The plants are broadly classified into two categories based on the adaptation. And what are those? Terrestrial plants, and the second one is your aquatic plants. Terrestrial plants and aquatic plants. Yes, in how many categories the plants are divided? Two. On which basis? On the basis of adaptations. Yes, on the basis of adaptation, the plants are broadly classified into two types. Your terrestrial plants, and the second one is your aquatic plants. Now let's see what are terrestrial plants and what are aquatic plants. So the first one is your terrestrial plants. What do you understand by terrestrial? Simply land. The plants which are seen on land, they are called terrestrial plants. Yes, so terrestrial itself means land. Understood, children? Terrestrial means land. Terrestrial means land. And terrestrial plants means the plants which are grown and seen on land. Such plants are called terrestrial plants. Rows of plants are there. Yes, pine is there, mango tree is there, sal wood is there. So different. Our national tree, banyan tree is seen on the land. So it's a terrestrial plants. Yes, terrestrial plants means the plants which are grown and adapted to the soil and climate of land area are called your terrestrial plants. Means terrestrial plants are habituated and adapted their characters to the climatic condition of the land area. Yes, to the climatic condition of the land area, to the soil of the land. And such plants are called terrestrial plants. What are terrestrial plants? The plants which are grown on the land and they are adapted to the soil and climate of the land areas. Such plants are called terrestrial plants. You can give n number of examples. Mango tree, pine tree, banyan tree, neem tree, so many are there. Understood? Terrestrial plants, land plants. Land plants means they are suitable for the soil and the climatic condition of the land. Now let's move on to the second category of the plants, that is aquatic plants. What are aquatic plants? What do you understand by aquatic? Aquatic, water. Yes, the simple meaning of aquatic is nothing but water. What is water? Water plants. There are different types of. Just now I gave you the example of lotus. Lotus is a water plant. Water lily. Yes, and those plants are adapted to the aquatic water. And they take their nutrition, they take their food there inside the water. We can't grow lotus or water lily in our house pots. Yes, because they are adapted to the water, aquatic condition of the water. So aquatic plants means the plants which are grown in water. The plants which are seen in the water, ponds, lakes, rivers, and in rivers, oceans, seas. Yes, so the plants which are grown in the water, the plants which are seen in the water are called aquatic plants, and they generally depends on the food and nutrition which is present inside the water only. Just like aquatic animals, they depend on the water animals. Yes, and these plants, these aquatic plants also depends on the water food. Yes, understood, my dear children. So So how many categories of plants are there on the basis of adaptation? 2. Terrestrial plants, aquatic plants. Terrestrial plants, the plants which are grown on land and they are adapted to the climate and soil of the land. And aquatic plants, the plants which are seen in the aquatic condition or water and they depends on the water food. Understood? So today, first of all, let's discuss about the various types of terrestrial plants. Because on land also we have different regions. We have got desert regions, we have got hill region, we have got polar regions, we have got plain areas. So depending on the areas, the terrestrial plants are also divided into your 5 types. Yes, you have to remember, my dear children. Yes, so there are five subcategories of terrestrial plants. Yes, depending upon their vegetation, depending upon the climate, depending upon the soil, these land plants or these terrestrial plants are further divided into 5 categories. All over the land also different regions are there. Na? Hilly areas are there, marshy areas are there, polar regions are there, desert regions are there, different areas are there. So based on the various plants growing in the various areas of the land, different varieties of areas on the land, so these terrestrial plants are further subcategorized into 5 types. Yes, first plants divided into 2 types, terrestrial plants and aquatic plants. Further, the terrestrial plants are further subcategorized into 5 types. How many types? 5. 5. Yes, 5 types of categories of terrestrial plants. So let's see what are the 5 types of terrestrial plants. First one, the plants which are seen in hilly areas, hill regions. Yes, Simla, Kulu Manali. Yes, they are all hilly areas or not? So plants which are seen in hilly areas, first type. Second type, plants seen in marshy areas, damp areas, wet areas. Yes, plants seen in marshy areas. Third one, plants seen in hot and damp areas, hot areas. Yes, plants seen in plains. And fifth one, plants seen in deserts. Yes, dear children. So how many subcategories of terrestrial plants are there? 5 types of. How many? 5. Yes, 5 types of categories of terrestrial plants are there. First one, hilly areas. Second one, marshy areas, means plants seen in the marshy areas. Third one, plants seen in the extremely hot and damp areas. Fourth one, plants which are seen in our land and our general plain areas. And the last one, the plants seen in the desert areas. Once again, in the hilly areas, plants seen in hilly areas. Second one, plants seen in marshy areas. Third one, plants seen in the hot and your damp areas. And plants seen in your desert areas. And plants seen in your plain areas. So we are going to discuss one by one each categories. Yes, let's see what type of plants are there in hilly areas and what type of characteristic features they have developed to survive in hilly areas. So let's move on and see the various characteristics of the various plants grown in different regions. Yes? So children, let's now discuss the various subcategories of terrestrial plants. Yes, the first one, as I told, plants grown in hilly areas. Hilly means what? There will be a cold climate there. It's extremely cold and hilly areas are generally cold. Yes, and what type of plants are seen in these hilly areas? Generally your pine trees are there. You have seen some pine trees, deodar trees. Yes, mostly pine, deodar, fir. Such type of plants are seen in hilly areas where the climate is quite cold as compared to the plain areas. And these plants have adapted their body to grow in these hilly areas. So what are the adaptation in the plants which grows in the hilly areas? Yes, have you ever seen this pine tree? Have you seen the leaves of the pine trees? It's just like a very needle-like structure. Yes, it's a very thin, pointed, needle-like structure, and the leaves are very small in size. Yes, the leaves of the plants that are grown in hilly areas are extremely small and needle-like structure. Yes, extremely small and needle-like structure. Since it's small in size, needle-pointed in structure, of course, they have less stomata. Now you are going to ask me, what is stomata, ma'am? Stomata is actually small pores which are present in the leaves. Yes, small pores which are present in the leaves through which exchange of gases takes place in case of plants. Remember guys, stomata are the small pores which are present in the green leaves for the exchange of gases in case of plants. In short, I can tell you these are the breathing organs of plants. Yes, so these stomata are very less in case of the plants which are grown in the hilly areas because small in size and needle-like pointed structure. You might have seen in some TVs or movies. Yes, and they have less stomata. And then their leaves, that small needle-like leaves are generally have a waxy covering over the leaves. Why waxy covering means it helps in preventing the loss of water. I told you that stomata is less in number, but still stomata is present. Through stomata what happens? Water also evaporates from the plant body. So it has got an outer covering. That covering is waxy like structure, wax. Yes, and that will prevent the loss of water in case of the plants which are grown in the hilly areas. And have you seen flowers in the plants growing in the hilly areas? I have not seen. Yes, mostly instead of flowers, they have cones-like structure. Just a triangle-shaped structured flowers are there. They are not actually flowers, they are called cones. Yes, instead of flowers, there are cones are present. And one most important thing is that they are not going to shed their leaves in winter as our plants do in the plain areas. You have seen, yes, plants generally shed their leaves in case of winter. Yes, generally the plants which are grown in the plain areas, but not in case of the plants which are growing in hilly areas. They are not going to shed their leaves in case of your winter season. Yes, so what are the first characteristic you need to remember? The plants which are grown in hilly areas. You can first of all give the examples like pine plants, fir plants, deodar plants, and these plants, you know children, they are called coniferous plants. Yes, what they are called? They are called coniferous plants. Coniferous, just now I told you that they don't have flowers, they have cones. And from there, the name comes the coniferous plants. Understood? Your fir plants, your pine plants, your deodar plants, they are called coniferous plants. What they are called? Coniferous plants. Which plants? Your pine, fir, deodar and the plants which are grown in hilly areas. Understood? The plants which are grown in the hill areas. Cold climate. Yes, in the cold climate, the plants which are grown are called coniferous plants. Yes, and what are the various features they have developed inside them? They have small leaves. Remember? Yes, the plants which are grown in hilly areas have small leaves, needle-like, less stomata. Yes, and they have waxy coating to prevent the loss of water. Yes, to prevent the loss of water, and one most important thing, they don't shed their leaves in winter. Once again, I am repeating, my dear children, what are the special adaptation of the plants growing in the hilly areas? First point, you can give the examples for deodar, pine trees, and what these plants are called? Coniferous plants. Done. They grow in cold climate. Done. Then their leaves are very small in size and needle-like, and due to which they have less stomata. Yes, so they have the leaves has got waxy coating to prevent the loss of water. And instead of flower, they have got cones, and from there the name comes the coniferous now. And they are not going to shed their leaves in winter. So when these features are seen in a plant, you just easily understand that these plants are from hilly areas. Understood the first one? Plants in hilly areas. Now let's move on to the second category of terrestrial plants. The plants which is seen in marshy areas. What is marshy areas, ma'am? Definitely you are going to think about it. Marshy areas means waterlogged areas. The plants which are seen in waterlogged areas. You must have seen in a number of movies and discovery channels. Everywhere there are plants. Means the water is surrounded by plants. Yes, a number of movies are there, pictures are there. You have seen in YouTube, your YouTube videos and your TV's discovery channels. Yes, waterlogged means completely there is water, and around that water it's a very damp areas, wet, damp, salty areas, waterlogged areas. And the plants which are, and what type of plants are grown in such areas? Generally you have seen a crocodile coming out from that long grasses, water. Yes, you just remember that picture. So such areas are called, such waterlogged areas, such damp areas, such salty areas are called marshy areas. And what type of plants are grown in such marshy areas? Mangrove trees. Yes, the best example for marshy area is mangrove trees and caryopsis. These two special plants are seen in waterlogged areas. Yes, waterlogged areas, they are extremely salty. Yes, they are extremely salty and they are very damp, wet condition. Remember children, marshy means waterlogged areas, damp, wet areas and extremely salty condition. And which type of plants are grown here? And the plants which are grown here are mangrove trees and your caryopsis. And mostly in sea areas, nearby sea areas, the marshy areas are seen. Yes, and it's very hot and damp areas, just now I told you. And the climate is extremely wet condition is there. Extreme moisture is present in the air. Salty climate, humidity will be more in case of your marshy areas. And what type of leaves they have? In hilly areas, they have needle-like leaves. Yes, small leaves. But the leaves in case of mangrove trees are very juicy leaves. Yes, very flexible, soft, juicy leaves are present in case of mangrove trees. So that they are better grown in salty and wet conditions. And the roots are grown in the soil, but they enter into the water to breathe there. This is the special feature and because of these roots, they grow in soil area, but enters into the water area. Just I told you, marshy areas means wet areas. Wet areas, damp means water will be there nearby. So the plants which is grown in the soil, the roots enters into the water to breathe, and such roots are called breathing roots. The roots which are grown in soil but breathe inside the water are called your breathing roots, and these roots help them to stand. You know, near the seashore, strong winds are blown, strong waves comes to support the plant, to make it strong, to stay erect. These breathing roots help to stand erect. Yes, to prevent this, breathing roots prevents the plants from the strong winds, from the waves which are coming from the sea areas. Understood, my dear children? Yes, the second category of terrestrial plant is your marshy areas. What are marshy areas? Waterlogged areas, done. Salty condition, yes. Wet condition, damp condition. Which plants are grown in these areas? Mostly your mangrove trees and your caryopsis. Yes. What type of leaves they have? Very soft, juicy leaves they have. Roots, long roots. Roots are called breathing roots. Why breathing roots? They are grown in soil but enters near the water to breathe. And these roots helps them and protects them from the strong waves coming from the seashore. Yes, from the wind, these plants are protected by the breathing roots. Understood? We are done with hilly areas. We are done with marshy areas. Now let's enter into the hot and damp areas. Yes. Now we have completed our journey with, we have seen the hilly areas. We have seen the damp areas. Now let's see what is the climate of hot and damp area. Hot, of course. Hot climate. Yes, damp, wet climate. Yes, what type of plants are seen here? And these are regarded as evergreen trees. The plants which are seen in hot and damp areas are called evergreen plants. Most of us have visited these areas. Yes, and number of plants you can see, rubber, teak, your coconut. Yes, coconut is seen in Kerala. You see, Kerala is in hot and hot climate is there, but it's near seashore. It's damp and wet conditions. So rubber tree, coconut are the examples of the plants which are grown in the hot and damp areas. It has got lots of leaves. You have seen the coconut plant. Yes, it has got loads and loads of leaves and it remains evergreen. Yes, the special feature of these leaves of the plants here are they remain evergreen throughout the year. And hence we called it as evergreen plants. And mostly found in tropical rainforest areas where plenty of moisture is there and extreme heat is there. Yes, understood, my dear children. The third category of terrestrial plants is the plants which are grown in hot and damp area, mostly near the seashore. Such plants are called evergreen plants because their leaves remain evergreen throughout the year. Rubber tree, coconut. Yes, you can give the best example of it. And they are mostly seen in tropical rainforest where every time rain is there, moisture is there, hot climate is there. Done with hot and damp areas. Now let's come to our areas. That is plants in plains. Banyan tree, mango tree, people. So many examples are there you can give for the plants which are grown in plain areas. These are our common plants. We know it. And it has got lots of branches. Yes. So the plants which are grown in our area, plain areas, have lots of branches, leaves, flowers, fruits. And we have seen the leaves turning yellow during autumn and they generally shed their leaves in case of your winter. Yes, these are the common known plants to us. Means the plants which are grown in the plain areas, yes, have got lots of branches, flowers, fruits, everything is there. They changes the color of the leaves from green to yellow during your autumn season and finally they shed their leaves during the winter season. You can give n number of examples for it. The last one, the plants which are grown in desert areas. Generally, plants are very scarce in the hot desert areas. Yes, because there is scarcity of water. Very less vegetation is seen in case of desert areas. Mostly you have seen cactus there. Cactus plant, palm plants are grown in desert areas. Yes, you have seen the leaves of cactus. Yes, the leaves has been reduced to spine. Thorns are present. Why these thorns are present, dear children? Yes, let me know. Why these thorns are there on the cactus plants? Why? To prevent the loss of water from the plant body. Yes, to prevent the loss of plant from the water body, their leaves are reduced to thorns or spines so that they can store water inside their plant body. We already know in desert areas there is a scarcity of water. How will the plants get the water then? Yes, they have to store the water inside their body. So that's why their leaves are reduced to spines and thorns to reduce the loss of water. And the most important thing in case of your plants, desert plant, is that they have got long roots. Yes, yes, yes. It's strange but true that they have got long roots so that these roots can penetrate deep inside the soil and extract the water from underground. Yes, and they have got waxy coating also just as to reduce the loss of the water. So these are the 5 categories of the terrestrial habitats. Plants grows in hilly areas. Leaves are small, needle-like, less stomata are there, waxy coating is there. Marshy areas, mangrove trees, yes, and they have juicy leaves and they have roots. They are called breathing roots, and these breathing roots helps them to protect from waves and strong winds. And then finally, the third one, plants in hot and damp areas. They are called evergreen trees. Yes, mostly your best example, coconut. Lots of leaves are there. They shed their leaves in your winter season. Next, plants in plains. Lots of branches are there. Yes, the leaves turning from green to yellow, shed their leaves in case of winter. Plants in deserts, leaves are reduced to thorns and spines to reduce the loss of water. Also, they have waxy coating to reduce the loss of water. They have got long roots so that the roots enter deep inside the soil and extract the water. These are the subcategories we discussed right now about the terrestrial plants. Yes, my dear children. Now let's discuss about the various adaptations seen in aquatic plant. Seen in lotus, seen in water lily. Means plants growing in water areas. Let's see, children, now let's see what type of adaptation these water plants have. Yes, the various adaptations seen in aquatic plants. These aquatic plants are also divided into 3 subcategories, dear children. Just like our land plants or terrestrial plants. It has got 3 subcategories. The first one, floating plants. The second one, emergent plants. And the last one, totally submerged plants. There are 3 subcategories of aquatic plants. Yes, means their adaptation is different depending on which type of water they are in. Yes, so there are 3 types: floating plants, emergent plants, and lastly totally submerged plants. Yes, how many categories? 3. What are they? They are floating plants, second one emergent plant, and the last one totally submerged plants. Let's see what type of features these floating plants have. Floating. What do you mean by floating? Just floating on the water. Yes, they are actually very light. Yes, their seeds, their flowers and everything are so light that they can easily float over the water. Yes, water lily, you can take the example of water lily. It's very light and fluffy. Yes, so that it easily moves from one place to another by floating on the water. And of course, their leaves has got stomata and chlorophyll for photosynthesis. And I told you what is stomata. Chlorophyll is actually a pigment which is present inside the leaves for which helps in the process of photosynthesis. Yes, they have stomata, they have chlorophyll pigment. Yes, and they are green in color because of this chlorophyll pigment. They are very light, very spongy, very fluffy, and these are also actually, these are also of 2 types. This floating plants is also of 2 types. One which roots are deep inside the water, anchored into the soil of the water, and another they don't have roots, they simply floats on the water. Yes, one is rooted, floating leaves. Your best example, water lily. And second one is that only floats in water. They don't have roots. Yes, they simply float in the water. So your best example I can give you is duckweed. They simply floats in the water. They don't have roots. And the roots along with floating on the water is your water lily. And they have got chlorophyll pigments which makes it green. They have got stomata which helps in photosynthesis. And their leaves you have seen, they have thick waxy coating on the leaves. You have seen whenever you put a drop of water on the leaves, it simply will repel the water. Yes, so such character is because of the waxy coating present in the leaves. Yes, so what are the characteristic features of plants? It's very light, fluffy, small in size, chlorophyll pigment is there, stomata are there, leaves have got waxy coating to repel the water. It's also of how many types? 2 types. One deep rooted, one not rooted. Deep rooted, which one? Water lily. Not rooted, duckweed. Now let's move on to the second category of aquatic plant, that is emergent plant, that is cactiel and iris. What are the 2 examples? They are cactiel and iris. Generally what happens, the lower part of the plant is inside the water. They are submerged in the water, not the upper portion. The lower portion of the plant is submerged in the water, and have you seen their stem? It's long, flexible stem, but inside it's completely hollow. There is nothing inside. It's just like a cylinder-shaped structure. It's completely long and flexible, but when you are going to break that stem now, inside that stem there is nothing. It's a hollow stem. Long, flexible, hollow stem is seen in case of your emergent plants, and because of this long, flexible nature of this tough internal fibers, it protects these plants from severe waves and strong winds. Yes, so generally cactiel and iris are 2 emergent plants. Yes, whose upper part remain outside, but lower parts of the plants are inside the water. Their stem is hollow. The stem is tough. Yes, long, flexible, which protects it from strong wind. Now the last category of aquatic plant is totally submerged plant, means completely inside the water. Completely inside the water. They don't have any stomata, leaves, chlorophyll. They don't have anything. They simply take the carbon dioxide which is given out or exhaled by the aquatic animals. they uses that carbon dioxide and they depends completely on the water fruit. Which plants? Totally submerged plants, tap grass, pond wheat. These are the examples. And the most important thing is that these totally submerged plants are best for aquarium because they take in the carbon dioxide released by the aquatic animals. So these are the special features seen in adaptation in aquatic plants. How many types? 3. Floating. While floating, small, light, fluffy, and they have thick waxy substances on the leaves to repel the water. And 2 types, one with root, another with they don't have root. Yes. Next, emergent plant. Lower part is completely submerged in the water. Long cylindrical thick stem that protects us from strong wind. And finally, totally submerged plants, no stomata, takes up the carbon dioxide which is released by the aquatic animal. Now children, now that we have discussed about the terrestrial plants and aquatic plants, there are some unusual different types of plants. You want to know what are the different unusual plants? So let's discuss something about the unusual plants. Children, now that we are done with our terrestrial plant habitats and your aquatic plants, now let's discuss some of the unusual, different plants. Why I said different means you will come to know. The first category of unusual plant is insectivorous plants. Have you ever heard insectivorous plants? Yes, my dear, they are carnivores. Means they eat the meat, they eat the flesh of the flies. How come? How come they don't have teeth? How come they belongs to carnivorous plants and they are called insectivorous plants? 2 best examples are there. That is pitcher plant and your Venus flytrap. These 2 are actually plants, but they eat the flesh of some insects. Yes, some flies, and hence they are regarded as insectivorous plants. Generally, what happens in case of pitcher plant? It's just in the shape of a pitch. Yes, which pitch means in which we keep some water, and that is having a lid. In the same way, the pitcher plant has got a pitch with a lid. So whenever a fly comes inside the pitch, it closes the lid. Yes, it closes the lid and the insect will move inside the pitcher plant, and there are digestive juices, and finally it kills the prey and eat the flesh. So it happens in case of your pitcher plant. But in case of your Venus flytrap now, they have got leaves. Yes. And the leaves have some hairs over it. Whenever a fly comes and sit on the leaves immediately closes. Yes, the leaves folds and close, and inside that leaf, the prey is there, digestive juice is there. It takes almost 5 days to digest that prey using the digestive juices. So this is some unusual plants. Yes, it's very strange to hear about this insectivorous plant. The best example is your pitcher plant and Venus flytrap plant. In pitcher plant, pitch shape having a lid. Whenever an insect comes inside the pitch, it closes the lids, and inside it gets digested. Venus flytrap, leaves are there. Leaves has got hairs, and whenever a fly or insect comes, it closes the leaves, and it takes almost 5 days to digest the prey using the digestive juice present in the Venus flytrap. Yes. Next category is the plants of grass family. We all know. Every day we are having the grass family food. Rice, wheat, corn, bajra. All these belongs to the grass family. They are edible. We can eat. Their seeds we are adding. It's our staple food. So your rice, your wheat, corn, bajra all belongs to your grass family. Even the bamboo. Yes, but the bamboo is very long. Yes, you will say me that ma'am, the bamboo is very long and tall. It belongs to actually giant grass family. It belongs to giant grass family, and in China, you know, it's used for preparing medicine. It's very nutritious. It's full of vitamins. It's full of amino acids. Which one? Bamboo. Yes, and it is used for number of purposes, for making papers, furnitures. You know about that. So these are the various adaptations seen in various plants. We came across your adaptation in case of terrestrial plants, adaptation in case of aquatic plants, and some unusual variety plants, and your finally grass plants. Hope, my dear children, you understood the various adaptations. Yes? So we will meet again with another interesting topic. Until then, stay safe, stay at home.